Here we are. Good morning, everyone. This month in CSL centers around the world, we're talking about relationships. Our relationship with God, with each other, with the world. And this morning, we're going to talk about relationships with ourself, our relationship that we have with ourselves, and in particular, how we talk to ourselves and how we listen to ourselves. So to that end, I want to share with you the amazing story about how our relationship with the Grand Prince Odeum, our new venue, came to be. And to kick that off, I want to welcome Billy to the screen. And Billy, could you tell us how you first encountered the Grand Prince Odeum? I'll call it the GPO. You know, we got to shorten everything these days. So, how did you encounter the GPO?
Oh, wow, David. Hi. Well, as many of you might know, actually, my very presence here in David is a remarkable chain of events, an incredible long manifestation that originated, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years ago in a desire for me to come to California. I've got two of my children live in California, and I was working with a partner on a big musical project in LA. And I was also searching for big love, and I found that in my wonderful partner, Erica, who's doing the slides today, and she also was manifesting some California, and ended up getting a job in Davis, which has led me to be your music director, which is pretty astounding in itself. But before I even met you guys, when we first got to Davis, we realized that Winters was very close by. We had heard about it. We had read about it. I think it was in the top 5 of small town foodies. So it's got a lot of great restaurants. Anyway, so we went to visit Winters, and we really fell in love with it. We're walking around. We're walking down the street on Main Street, and we see this building, and it's for sale, and it's kind of run down, but I'm looking at it, and we're peeking in the windows, and we're like, wow, this place is amazing. And I'm thinking in my brain, it's like, wow, this would be so cool if I could turn this into a performing arts center, a cultural center, and a spiritual center. I was like, that would be amazing. Wouldn't that be incredible? And we're like, yeah, well, I'm sure it costs $1 million. So, my manifestation wasn't strong enough to imagine myself with $1 million yet. Going back to that music project, that might end up there, but we would go to that place all the time, and then we started seeing that it was being fixed up, and there's paint and there's lights, and we're like, this is amazing. Now we're peeking in the windows, and we're seeing all these beautiful things inside, and I'm like, what's going on? And so we looked into it and found out who had purchased it, and we found them on Facebook and started following them, and went through watching all their trials and tribulations to get this thing together, and the things that they're getting in their way, and then I just kind of it's just been sitting there, and then Deborah said,
Oh, no, don't
we're
tell
gonna give
too
away
much.
because she's on the list. Okay, I get it. So that's basically my part of the story, is that before I even met you guys, became a music director, I had envisioned that this place would exist, and it's pretty amazing.
Awesome. And now to continue on with that, Dr. Deborah Taylor is you're there? Yes.
I'm here.
All right. And would you share with us how the GPO entered into your consciousness?
Well, I've lived in Winters, about 30 years now, and so it's always been there. I've always been curious about it because it was a historical building, looked like kind of a mission church, but I never saw anybody having church in there. So a friend of mine, Valerie Whitworth, who comes to our service periodically, knew that we were looking for space, that we were open for a in-person meeting place, and we had been looking around Davis and not quite finding things that, you know, meshed for us. And so she told me that she had met the person who bought the building, and they, you know, were open. She really wanted a church in there, and they were open. I should talk to her. So I sort of would pass by, and occasionally I'd see like a truck or something out there, but didn't stop. So she invited me to a Chamber of Commerce dinner where I actually had to like wear a dress. I couldn't wear my blue jeans. And so she introduced me to the couple who owned the building, and they were just really nice. She gave me her card and everything. And she was like, oh, just drop by anytime. You know, if you see us here, just come and see the building. So one day I was passing by and the door was open. And so I made a U-turn and stopped to have a conversation. And she showed me the building. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And so, you know, and I was like, well, what are you thinking about for rent? And she was like, well, you know, what do you guys want to pay? I'm like, oh, no. I'm not the person to have this conversation with. Can I put you in touch with our board president and, you know, our minister and the board? So I sent David I said, David, you know, we need to check out this place. And I sent pictures. I took pictures and I sent pictures. And he was like, oh no.
Oh, wait. Don't tell my part yet.
Don't go into your part. Okay. So I did not get a very enthusiastic response. Let's put it that way. And so I sent it again, and I just said, you know, I wasn't expecting us to necessarily like move here, but it's a mental equivalent, and we got to start thinking about what's possible for us, you know, in terms of space, because that's where, you know, we're looking for space. So let's just at least look at it, you know. So I sent it again, and back to David.
Yes, and here we come to the part of the story of resistance. Every protagonist, every drama that you watch on TV, it's got a protagonist that's trying to do something, and you have an antagonist that's trying to stop them from doing something. I had an antagonist inside of me, and so Deborah had shown us the pictures that she took of the inside and the outside, and I was just blown away. This is my first seeing it at all was from Deborah. So I'm looking at the pictures, and immediately, you know, I'm a realist. You know, I knew that this was too much for us. I knew that this was too expensive, and it was too ornate, and it was too wonderful, and too everything. And it's like, come on, Deborah, you know, come on, let's come back down to earth. I think this is too much for us. And that attitude was met with a very quick correction from our practitioner core. Number one, Deborah informed me that this is just a mental equivalent. Like she said, this is a mental equivalent. We have to put into our minds what we want God to do, what we want God to bring us. And while I knew that God was bringing us our new venue, I thought I knew from the direction from which that venue would arrive and how it would get here and what it would look like. And I had all these other ideas that were small ideas. Deborah was presenting us with a big idea, and I was afraid to think that big. I immediately wanted to shrink it down. And Bobby, who I also think, also took me to task for my small thinking and said, look, that's not the way it works. That's not the way it works. We have to think and believe the best for ourselves. And this is where we start. This is where we start thinking about the best for ourselves with this venue, and thinking of ourselves in this place and what it feels like and what we'll feel like in it. So just looking at the place is a spiritual exercise of opening ourselves up to possibilities. So after I was taken to task by Deborah and Bobby, I capitulated. I said, hey, you are right. You make perfect sense. I don't know what I was thinking. Deborah, please send me the information. Send me the address and the connection information for this place. I'm on board. I at least want to go and take a look at it and really soak in the atmosphere. So she responds to me with an email with the connection information for the owner. And it turns out that the owner is a friend of mine. Not only is a friend of mine, but we went to high school together. Not only did we go to high school together, she grew up 2 streets away from me in the same town, 2 streets away. We had been going to school together our entire lives, our entire young lives. Elementary school, grammar school, junior high, high school. So I was very familiar. I saw the name and it's like, wow, I recognize that name. How incredible. How good does Spirit work? How mysterious are the workings of Spirit? So we have that, and we're blown away. And as soon as I open myself up to the possibility of more, what does God do? Present me with an amazing blessing. Just this intersection, just this coincidence is a blessing. So the blessing continues. Heather and myself and the relocation committee all went there, and this was last Monday. Thank you, Heather. Shouting from the other room. It was last Monday. So we all went to take a look at this amazing space. And before we went in there, we kind of went in there with a plan. It's like, okay, well, how much are we gonna say that we can afford, and how much can we afford, and what offer are we gonna start with? And we're all planning and figuring out how we're gonna approach this before we had gone in. So we get there, we meet up with Rhonda, who is a wonderful person, an absolutely wonderful spirit. We get in there, she shows us around. It's an amazing space. There's room for everything. There's room for children. There's room for adults. There's a video screen. There's a world-class sound system in there. And lighting. It's got everything that we need. Everything that we need. And so we complete our tour, and now we're talking turkey. Okay, we're all sitting together. And we asked the question, well, so what were you thinking about as far as renting this space? Heather is shouting something else for me. What am I forgetting? Oh, yes. Heather and I were talking about this whole thing the night before. And so we were talking about what we can afford. And Heather said, you know what, you should just go for, $500 a month. You should tell them. I'm like, Heather, please, this is going to be way more expensive than that. I don't want to insult her with an offer like that. Come on, Heather. And this is me closing off again. I just opened up, and then here I am closing off again. So I close off as a tut. Heather, that's far too small. So we sit down and we're talking about money. And we say, how much were you thinking about renting this place for? Rhonda responds that she isn't looking to make a huge profit out of this place. This is a passion project for her. And she said from the very, very beginning, as soon as she bought it, she said, I am reserving Sundays for God. The spiritual center that I want to make out of this place, as well as a performing arts center, requires me to make Sundays for God. So I'm not comfortable charging you a rent. What I would like to do is just charge you for the expense of having the place open, of the electricity and everything to keep the lights and air conditioning on, and for the cleaning, a cleaning fee. And she said, let me get with my people, and I'll let you know in a couple of days how much that'll be. And so we all looked at each other at the table. We're like, oh my goodness, this is actually happening. And so we leave. She calls in a couple of days, and she said, okay, well, I've talked to my people, and we've arrived at a number, and we feel very comfortable charging you $250 a month. I don't know if you're aware of real estate prices and of rental and of commercial rental fees. But $250 a month for that space is incredible. Incredible. And it's half of what Heather told me to offer. It was half of what I said was absolutely out of the question. God is good. So good. So that is the story of how the Grand Prince Odeum came into our lives as a result of a continuing series of miraculous events, coincidences, and synchronicities. It
Hey,
was,
David, can I
yes,
just interject
sure.
here? I was last night, I was thinking about this, and it seems like all of a sudden out of the blue, but do you know, we have been really preparing our consciousness for this over the past at least couple of years intensely. We've had abundance experiences, we've had wellness experiences, and now we have a gratitude group going on, and we've had other things that we have been doing to prepare ourselves and our consciousness for this. So it seems like boom, it's like all of a sudden this happened, but we had to get ready. We had to get ready. Yeah. Thank you for letting me.
Absolutely. Thank you for including that, because we've had a lot of special things that have been preparing our minds and our hearts to accept a blessing like this. We are constantly being blessed by God. God is never not blessing. It's a matter of how much blessing that we can recognize, identify, accept. It's amazing. So there's so many lessons wrapped up in this, and I want to leave us with 3 lessons that are jumping right out at me. And one of them is an artist lesson, a lesson from artists. Billy is a wonderful musical artist. Deborah is an artist. She has a lot of art and things that she does, and a lot of artistic interest. The artist knows that inspiration can come from anywhere. Anywhere. Anything can inspire you to create. And the artist is open and attuned, and their antennae are up, listening for any kind of inspiration and turning that into art, turning that into manifestation. So the first thing is to adopt the artist's mindset. Know that God is constantly communicating with you. Know that God is constantly blessing you, and just look for where that blessing is going to come from, because it's coming. It's here. We're surrounded in blessing. So that's one thing. The next thing is to just be open to God. Okay? I just finished ministerial school. I know all about being open to God. I know about it. I just got done studying about it. And I still had to be taught, even again, I still had to be alerted to how I was not being open to God. And I was not being open to good, to even the possibility of a good this good. So I have to get my mind right. So we all need to get our minds right, and be able to accept more good than the good that is present right now, the good that we recognize, because it's coming in from everywhere. The next thing is, and the last thing is, we always say in this philosophy to treat and move your feet. Have you ever heard that? Treat and move your feet. That means to treat and then to move into the direction of that which you have prayed about. If you're praying to know something, then as soon as that prayer is released, then you let it go and you move into it. You move on with the rest of your life knowing that that is happening. There's one more element to treat and move your feet. We got to treat, we got to move our feet, and we got to pay attention. We have to listen and to recognize when our prayers are being answered, when our beliefs are manifesting right in front of us. We got to pay attention. We have been treating for a new home for the past, significant period of time. We have been treating. I have had my mind, and weekly I go out to like Craigslist, I check commercial properties, I just kind of go out there and I look, and I'm always looking. So I'm treating, I'm moving my feet, right? I'm moving in and I'm knowing that God is providing. And even in that mode of treating and moving my feet, I was not fully paying attention to all of the good that was coming our way. A venue showed up and I'm like, oh yeah, that thing that we've been treating for, that thing that I've been believing that God is providing for us, that thing, that's not the right thing. Yeah, no thanks. I'm expecting my blessings to come from over here rather than over here. But we have to be prepared to receive our blessings from anywhere, from any source. So that's what I want to leave you with today. Our home play of this week is to just be open, to remember what we have treated for, remember what we believe, and be open to receive exactly that from a myriad of different directions. We have to build a trust within ourselves, that we trust in God. Because God is always speaking to us, always. And if God is not going to get to you through the front door, God is going to get to you through the side door, through the back door. I got something from the front door. Deborah said, hey, this is a place, this is a beautiful place. Would you consider it? That's right through the front door of my consciousness. I said, oh no. Did God stop there? No. God provided me another doorway and another one in this year, and then one from behind me. And all of these things. And I finally said, okay, I'm listening. Thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you. I'm listening now. So we all have many opportunities and will have many opportunities to hear God and to hear the goodness of God ringing through. We just need to be open and aware that these messages are coming in and our manifestations are taking fruit. So let's take that into prayer. And let us go inside of ourselves, inside of our minds, inside of our hearts. to that place beyond all condition, beyond our hair, beyond our skin, beyond our muscles and our organs. We're so much more than the condition of our vessel. So we're going beyond that, beyond all condition, to that place of peace, of rest, of love, of infinite mind, where we are conditionless. And it is here from this place of conditionlessness that we are identical. The me that is without condition is the same as you without condition. And so it is here that we reside together, peacefully, lovingly, and proclaim the truth that there is one. There is only one. One spirit, one guide, one source, one place of oneness, one God. And this God is the source of all things, the all-knowing, all-loving, all-powerful creator of all things, loving all its creations equally, empowering all of its creations equally, and giving us all the ability to love each other equally. Serving all creation. That is what God does. And that is what God is doing right now, serving us, manifesting what we believe, letting us know that we're loved and cherished, listening to our hearts. And so I am filled with gratitude, knowing that the love of God is the love that is within me, that the power of God is the power that is within me. The peace, the love, the wisdom, the beauty, the joy that is God is within me, alive and accessible. And all I need do is to know it, is to believe it, and it becomes alive in me. And so I'm grateful for this connection. I'm grateful for this connection to God. I'm grateful for this connection to you. I'm grateful for the connection that we all share, and knowing that anything is possible in this world. So I'm grateful for our new venue. I'm grateful for my new attitude. I'm grateful to be open to God. And it is with this gratitude that I release these words into the mind of the universe, knowing that as soon as they're said, as soon as they're believed, they are acted upon and made real right in front of my eyes in a myriad of different ways. I release this knowing that I look into the eyes of God in every person that I meet. I release these words knowing that they're true and done. And let us all release these words with the words. And so it is.